In this nugget, we're going to be looking at alcohol and disease. Grains, fruit juices, dairy products, honey, and other sugary substances have been fermented to produce drinks for thousands of years. Fermentation describes when carbohydrates, such as sugar, are changed into alcohol or acids by microorganisms with very, very little oxygen around them. Alcoholic drinks contain an alcohol called ethanol. This chemical has mood-altering effects on humans, and because of this has been used for thousands of years as a recreational drug and in medicines. And because it is a poison, it is used as an antiseptic for killing pathogens, and can be used to preserve biological specimens and as a solvent, such as in perfume, tinctures, extracts, and essences. It is also used as a fuel. Ethanol is a depressant. This means it slows down how the brain works, but at low doses it produces a feeling of calm, happiness, peace, and makes people more chatty and sociable. Unfortunately, at high doses, ethanol causes sedation, poor coordination, extreme emotions and mood swings, low blood sugar, numbed sensations, so sometimes you can't feel things and your response to pain is lowered, vomiting, memory loss, unconsciousness, incontinence, where you can't control when you urinate or defecate, coma, and death. As has been mentioned, alcohol is a poison, but one of the liver's jobs is to remove chemicals from the body, and it can deal with some alcohol. But alcohol is addictive, and consistent high doses, or binge drinking, where a lot of alcohol is consumed in one go, but this happens infrequently, damages the liver. Alcohol damages the liver, causing cirrhosis, which is when the normally functioning liver cells are replaced with scar tissue. More than 2 or 3 alcoholic drinks every day, or binge drinking for a couple of days a week for several years, is enough for alcoholic cirrhosis to occur. We call anything that promotes the development of cancer a carcinogen. Carcinogens work by damaging the DNA or by disrupting chemical reactions in the cell. Alcohol is a carcinogen, and people who drink alcohol are more at risk of lots and lots of different cancers, but particularly mouth, throat, voice box, breast, bowel, rectum, lung, prostate, brain and spinal column, and skin and liver cancer. Liver cancer is often difficult to treat and is very likely to spread. Drinking a lot of alcohol for a long time damages the brain. Many of the brain structures can be lost and the brain stops functioning properly. Alcohol also affects the cardiovascular system. If blood to part of the body is blocked, glucose and oxygen for respiration is not delivered to those parts of the tissues and it dies. This is an extremely serious condition. If this happens in the heart, we call it a heart attack. If it happens in the brain, we call it a stroke. Alcohol increases heart rate and blood pressure and can over time lead to a weakened heart muscle, cardiovascular disease, such as coronary heart disease and stroke, and an irregular heartbeat. Adults are advised not to drink more than 14 units of alcohol in a week. Alcohol affects growth and development of the body, so no one under the age of 18 should drink alcohol. The units of alcohol you do drink should be spread out over several days in the week, especially if you regularly drink the full 14 units in a week. The amount of alcohol found in different alcoholic beverages varies, so this is why tracking it by units can be very useful. Binge drinking is when people don't drink very often, but when they do, they drink a lot. There isn't one definition, but in the UK it means about 6 units within 2 hours. Binge drinking brings the same increased risk of health problems that heavy drinking does. We've already mentioned that alcohol affects growth and development, but let's look in more detail at drinking alcohol during pregnancy. When a pregnant person drinks, the alcohol passes from their bloodstream into the babies through the placenta. The liver is one of the last organs to fully develop in a fetus, so they cannot process the alcohol well. This causes problems with the growth and development of the baby, increases the risks of premature birth and miscarriage. It causes low birth weights and increases the chances the child will have learning difficulties. Fetal alcohol syndrome is a rare but severe condition that results when a pregnant person drinks. Signs in the person born include small body size, facial abnormalities, poor coordination, low intelligence, behavioral problems, learning difficulties, sight and hearing problems. There is no known way to safely drink alcohol during pregnancy, so it is recommended that all pregnant people avoid all alcohol, even a small amount. To summarize, alcoholic drinks contain a type of alcohol called ethanol. Alcohol has been used for thousands of years as a recreational drug. It is a depressant, but at low doses it produces a feeling of calm, happiness, peace, and makes people more chatty and sociable. Unfortunately, at high doses, ethanol causes sedation, poor coordination, extreme emotional displays and mood swings, low blood sugar, numbed sensations, vomiting, memory loss, unconsciousness, incontinence, coma, and death. Drinking heavily or binge drinking is known to cause several health problems. It is recommended that every adult only drinks 14 units of alcohol in a week or fewer. Alcohol severely impacts development and should not be drunk by children or pregnant people. Keywords: health, complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease. Disease, something that causes all or part of an organism to stop working properly. It can affect the structure or function or both, but diseases are not caused by an external injury. Risk factor, something that increases the chances of developing a disease. Carcinogen, encourages the development of cancer. Promote, support or encourage progression. Poison, a chemical that can cause illness or death in a living organism. Pathogen, a microorganism that causes disease. Drug, a chemical that affects the way an organism works. Recreational, an activity done for enjoyment. Cardiovascular, to do with the heart, cardio, and blood vessels, vascular. Coronary heart disease, or CHD, narrowing of the arteries that feed the heart, usually due to fatty deposits in the walls of the arteries. Stroke, a medical condition where blood supply to part of the brain is blocked due to a blood clot, fatty deposits, or bleeding in the brain. Addicted, dependent physically and or mentally on a particular substance.